Hi, I am Wolf Van Halen. I've been with the Dario my whole life. With Van Halen on bass, there's just nothing better. And I say it right, the Dario. Nobody f***ing says it right.
Hey, I'm John Bohlinger with Premier Guitar. We are in Nashville, Tennessee in the famous basement, and I'm with Marty Friedman. Marty, man, thank you so much for joining us today.
Nice to meet you, John. Thanks for having me.
Yes, such a pleasure. Okay, we've got a lot to cover, but I want to start with this signature of yours.
Yep. This is the MF1 purple mirror, cracked mirror guitar, and complete with Chargy sticker and Wakazaimon sticker from my band.
Very cool. Love it.
And what else you need to know about it?
Well, tell me. Now you were with PRS prior to this, right?
A long time ago, yes.
Yeah. And then got into Jackson's. And coming up with this design, what were you kind of going for?
Well, we know what this shape is.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Groundbreaking new shape. I thought of this.
Right.
But I'll tell you about this shape. This shape, there's something magic about it.
Yeah.
You can put this shape on anybody and it looks good.
Right.
It just looks great on everybody. My previous signature with Jackson was a Kelly. It was like an Explorer-shaped guitar. And luckily that fit the contours of my body really good. It looked good on me. But like those pointy guitars are kind of hit and miss with like the general public.
Sure.
And like, if an accountant decides to play guitar, it's not going to look good. But if an accountant picks up this guitar, he's going to look really cool.
Yeah.
On the other hand, like, those shaped guitars, like I said, it's hit and miss. If I were to like play something like Dimebag Darrell's guitar, that big X thing,
right,
I would look like a moron. It doesn't look good on me at all. It looked great on him,
right,
fantastic on him. So like those shaped guitars are kind of niche, but this shape I've always liked, even when another brand was making this exact same shape. So I wanted this shape, but I wanted to Jacksonize it, you know what I mean?
Sure.
So make kind of a modern headstock, put my logo on it. And this is also an original idea that no one from KISS has ever done before. No one ever in KISS had a cracked mirror guitar.
Never.
And it's a very original idea that I had. But actually what Jackson did with it, to make it new and unique, was they created a very unique kind of material that actually is not cracked. So it doesn't have those thick cracks as you're used to seeing with someone from KISS. And it's got its kind of own vibe, and it really reflects light in a very, very cool way. And of course, Jackson is also thinking not only of looks, but of tone. And so like the material kind of keeps the tone in the guitar, so to speak, according to them.
Right. Well, it's beautiful, and it looks a little lighter, a little thinner. Looks like it's a little more.
It's not light. It's a man's guitar. Pick it up.
Yeah, a little, but it does feel good in there. I like that ergonomic deal there. Yeah, that's really nice. That heel right there. Yeah,
it's a nice guitar, man. It feels great, plays great.
A few war
There's some
wounds.
battle scars on it.
Yeah, battle scars makes it all the cooler.
Yeah, it's got the signature there, being the signature model and all.
Oh, that's great. And for pickups, you're going with your signature EMGs, is that correct?
Keep it in the family.
Yeah.
And those come with the guitar when you buy it. It's not custom at all. And these obviously, I just said make a pickup until I think it sounds good. What am I going to tell them about coils and things like that?
Yeah, right.
And they did. They sent me a bunch of pickups, and I'm like, this is the one to go with, and that's what they did. So like, I don't know if you can expand on.
I would say they're kind of mid-rangey. And you definitely don't like he doesn't like top end. We usually drive that down on the amps too. So yeah, they're not bright sounding. You go for a more mid-rangey, darker tone.
Yeah, so if I'm like play like a melody. I mean, how long do you want to sustain?
Right, right. And you know, on that, and the bridge can be a little bitey, but those are so warm, man.
Yeah, very, very nice.
They're also
pickup.
passive. Should mention that.
No batteries. I don't like anything that could possibly create a problem down the line.
Well,
Sometimes
wow.
guitar techs are not as good as Alan, and they forget to change batteries
Sure.
and things like that. So why not idiot-proof the guitar?
Were you doing EMGs prior to this?
Was I?
No, well, at least on your PRS, they had like PRS pickups.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's wow.
They're
that's,
just a great company. Literally every company that I've worked with for a long period of time, it's because of the people.
Right.
I mean, let's be straight. All the gear, all the good professional gear, it's all good.
Yeah.
But like when you're touring and recording and working and you need things in certain situations, the people make all the difference. You know what I mean? So
Oh,
the
sure.
people at Jackson, the people at EMG, ENGL, they're my biggest supporters, and I just couldn't do anything without them, and it's all about the people. Of course the gear is fantastic, but it's the people.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
sure.
So what strings are you running on this?
These are Diodarios. Diodari, also a fantastic company.
Yeah.
10 to 46.
10 to 46?
Yeah, NYXL.
Yeah, those are
Signals.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
And what picks do you use?
These are Dunlops.
How you've got such an unusual, almost like George Benson way of holding it. How did you like develop that? Did that just happen organically?
Too
or-
much of doing this when I was 13. My hand got stuck that way.
Yeah. Well, I think we can all relate to that. Yeah, sure. Guitar player problems. Yeah. No, that's great. Okay, and this is your number one, but you're touring with a backup,
Yes.
right?
This is a number one, but like it might as well not be a number one. Any of the guitars are a number one. They're exactly the same. I don't have anything custom that you can't buy directly from Jackson.
God, isn't that cool that somebody can walk into a guitar store and buy exactly your rig?
That's what I want. I don't want anything that you need to do this funky tweaking things or anything like that. I want to pull it off the wall, because what happens if I'm in like Brazil or Argentina and suddenly, you know, the guitar didn't arrive from the airport or
Right.
whatever. You
Which
can
I'm
walk into the
sure-
store and pull one off the wall. It's exactly the same.
God, that's great.
So I like that.
Yeah, that's great. And so this is your backup, just in case, and the single knob.
This was a prototype when you were getting back with Jackson. I think they made 2 prototypes. This is the one you like the best, but you ended up going with 22 frets instead of 24, and the 4 knob configuration on the final model. But that's what it looked like, just 4 knobs and 22 frets.
Oh, yeah. I probably asked for one knob like that, and then they probably said, you're going to sell more with 4 knobs on it. So
Right.
that's probably...
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good decision.
I asked them to make a guitar with no knobs and just
Yeah.
leave it on all the time. I'm not turning the guitar off, but they said nobody's going to buy that. So
Yeah, that would be a bit of a stretch for most of us. And then the rest of the rig, we'll get into this pedalboard a little bit later, but on this signature amp, what was that whole process like?
well, I was so honored when ENGL said that they wanted to do a signature amp for me. And I'd been using ENGL amps in the studio and live for several years before that. And my favorite one was the Steve Morse signature amp.
Right.
But if you've seen that amp, I know that he flies airplanes, and I think that you need to be an airplane pilot to know how to work the damn
A
thing.
lot of knobs.
A lot of knobs. A lot of knobs. I don't like the sound of that. A lot of knobs. A lot of knobs that you have to fiddle with. And I just didn't, I'm sure I didn't use all of them. So I said, look, I've been using this Steve Morse in the studio a lot. I love the sound of it. And I don't know if you were the tech at the time. Maybe it was
No.
before you.
Yeah,
right?
before me.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is maybe, what, 15 years ago maybe? 10 years?
I've been with you for almost 10 years, so
So it was probably like 12 years ago.
Yeah.
I said, look, this is how I use the amp. Let's make my signature amp the exact same thing as the Steve Morse amp, but without everything that I don't use.
Yeah.
So take out all of the stuff I don't use, leave only the stuff I use. Then you get a cheaper version, and a simpler version and the exact version that I use. So it's like everybody wins.
Yeah.
And so that's what the amp is. It's just such a killer amp. I mean, just like... It's just such an awesome sounding amp. I mean, all the ENGLs are, but they really made my amp something special.
Yeah, it sounds like an angry god just howling like that.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, that's great.
The reason we only stock D'Addario strings is because D'Addario strings are perfect.
When people come in here, they think that we get them for free or something like that, but we don't. We have no other reason except for dependability and tone.
And then your pedal board, tell me a little bit about what's going on here. And luckily you have your tech here who's totally on it. So let's hear this whole process.
Well, I'll tell you the process and then Alan can explain in detail.
Yes.
Alan is like really meticulous about knowing all the pedals, knows my playing inside and out. Even before, we've been working together 10 years, but even before that, he knew my playing very well. And I know my playing, but I have no idea gear things. So it was perfect to have him say, look, I think you should use this, 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 and this for this song. And when you're playing this, you should have this effect on. And I said, create the best perfect rig for me. And that's exactly what he did. So I'm going to have him explain the purpose of all of these things. And maybe I'll play along and if he can explain it.
Okay, so going through the signal chain, just for today we're going with cable, but usually on the shows we use this Shure wireless. It's a GLX D6 Plus. It's a new version, it's been pretty good so far. And from there we go into the gate. It's a Rev G8. And
now, are you running the gate all the time? Or,
I'm like, I have my hand on it the whole show. Yeah. So when I know he needs to ring out, I turn it off. And when there's a tight end, a tight riff or something, I crank it, you know. So I'm like on it. That's like probably the most important pedal, I would say.
Right.
So I would say like 90% of the show he's on that. Just the amp distortion tone, and maybe some delay on leads sometimes. So yeah, the gate is like the most important one for me at least. From there, this was my idea. Obviously, it makes my job easier. The Boss ES8, just so I can switch everything on the amp. And the pedals in one press of a button, so it makes my job easier.
Sure.
So in each loop we have, the first one is a compressor, which I'm used mostly for the clean tone. We started doing that, so we use it for the clean tone, and also he really likes this Maxon auto filter pedal, and which is like an auto wah pedal, but sometimes we use that in the front, because he likes it, as you can see, all the knobs are all the way down.
Right.
He likes it very subtle. So sometimes if it's too much, we hit the compressor before it, just so we can mellow it down. And it's not. Yeah.
Can we hear that a little
Yeah.
bit? Because that is such a weird.
So what are we listening to? Maxon.
lead
I'll play
with
the
Maxon.
same one with and without the Maxon.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, cool.
Should we start without?
Let's start it without. Can you tell the difference?
Barely.
Let's try another line that might help you understand it more.
Yeah, I can hear that. It's almost got that, almost like a wah and a cock.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
honestly, his playing style, sometimes it sounds like it's on, and I'm checking it's off. It's just your pick attack. Sometimes it tricks me into thinking it's on.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit like he's playing.
I'm like subliminally, subconsciously playing to that, because that pedal has been in my rig like forever. So even when it's off, but like it's so incredibly subtle that, but like let's show what happens if you turn it up a little bit on the left one. You can really, like in the studio, for example, you can put like an emphasis on a note.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like you kind of like can sort of bring it out, but I don't really do that much. Sometimes in the studio for like one note, I don't usually have it up that high like when I'm playing runs like that, but for one note if you want to, it kind of puts a voice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very slightly. I don't want it to sound like he's using a wah.
Right.
Once it starts sounding like a wah, then like why not use a wah? So if you just use it very subtly, it can add that human element, which I really like.
Yeah, to me, I mean, for a listener, it doesn't sound like an effect so much as just a slight tone variation.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, but you're getting so much tone variation with when you go your fingers, between your pick and your fingers. There's so much happening on your hands. It's like,
Well, it's like, of course that's true, but like, that's why Alan knows how to get this stuff to bring this all out. You know, if I was playing through a rig that wasn't so good, it would just sound like me playing through a rig that didn't sound good.
yeah, right.
Still sound like me, but it would not sound good.
Yeah. Okay, so what's next in the line?
Next we got a chorus that right now we're just using it for the clean tone. On other set lists we had earlier, like you played like Stigmata Addiction, and you had a heavier chorus part, so I would use it for that. But
Chorus?
yeah, the chorus. Yeah.
Oh, you want to play the chorus?
With the lead, yeah, we can do that. I can do like Stigmata.
Yeah. Again, it's not overly.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's very subtle.
Yeah, it's pretty much that, and then the cleans.
Yeah.
So
Boy, that
and I
really
mellow it
spreads
down
it.
for the cleans. It's not that noticeable.
Are you
It's
clean now?
Just, can do the clean.
You like more expressive with a clean like that. So you keep playing, you can still sort of hear the note if you end on it. Like. You can't really hear the chorus, but it exists. It's still there, you know what I mean? It's not there that loud, but I like that subtle thing. You can't, it's not like, oh, he's got an effect on. It just sounds
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Just a pretty tone.
pleasant to listen to.
Yeah. Okay, that's great. And then next,
Next, we got the Phase 90 that we don't really use a lot. Sometimes I feel like using it on a certain part, and most times he likes it, but I think we're only using it like once in the show.
That's the thing,
Yeah.
because she's like a really good guitar player and knows guitar and knows like this should be used now and then. So like I like to like just let him do that.
Yeah.
I just play, and if he feels like today I want to use the phaser here, that's kind of fun because then I get surprised while I'm playing. Oh, that was really cool.
Yeah.
Right, that's
Or
good.
sometimes
not.
I'm like, or not. You
Sometimes
know.
not.
Right. So yeah, what about when the mind meld doesn't work? When you guys are when
I
you're
will
on a
say
different-
something like,
It's only happened a few times, and then I just don't do it anymore. But most times it's
most of
it's
the times,
good.
dude, what'd you do, man? That was cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that's,
And then we keep it in there.
oh,
Yeah.
that's very cool.
So
yeah.
for the clean, you see this Tube Screamer, I'm only using it for the clean right now. So on leads, it's just the amp and delay, you know. So as you can hear, the clean is not perfectly clean, so we just wanted like a little grit on it.
Yeah.
Because he mostly plays like clean lines on the show.
Right.
We got
'Cause, I mean,
Naoki doing all the clean rhythm parts. So.
'Cause
Is this the
it's
clean tone?
Yes.
sounds clean, but there's really a tube screamer on that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense because this is like 100 watts.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it would be so clean.
Yeah.
It'd be uncomfortably clean.
Yeah,
without
yeah.
that. Yeah, that makes it more like a voice. Wow, that's great. And then
Yeah.
finally, the
Boss DD500, yeah.
Oh,
So that's mainly for leads, and I have like just like a regular lead delay that I use it most of the show, and maybe a few spots where I know there's a very long note. I do like a very long delay, kind of like you know.
Want to show what that's like?
Yeah, so-
Wow. Just a basic.
Yeah. I usually use it when he's doing a very epic ending with a very long note.
Sure.
If he's doing a lot of noodling, I keep it on the simpler delay, shorter
It's
one.
probably easier to explain if I was playing something
Like the ending of Devil Take Tomorrow, something like that.
the
The
ending
very
of
ending.
the
when I
clean
switch
ending.
No, when I switch you back to distortion after the clean.
Yeah. This.
Yeah, that's where I use it.
So let's try that then.
Are you up?
I'm up. Yeah.
Okay.
Go.
Yeah.
right. So do you end up tapping in the tempo on these, or just
No, it's just the two endings I use that for.
Yeah.
So no, we just keep it on the one tempo and it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nothing too complicated.
Because CC knows what all of the solos are. If I'm playing fast, he'll take that out. But if I'm like holding notes out, he'll put it in there. So it gives like some life to the long notes, and
Yeah.
then you can hear the fast stuff clearly.
Right. So at your feet, you've got nothing. You're.
Nothing.
Cow,
Can you
that's-
imagine how messed up
No.
how I would
With his boots now.
I would mess up every single switch.
Yeah.
Just stomping.
Yeah, he'll press four at
arbitrarily
a
on
time.
it.
You know, they got guys who like program that stuff in, but like I change things up
Yeah.
a lot when I play. So like, and he kind of like is thinking 2 steps ahead. Oh, he's going to do this now, and then that's why, for a player like me, it's very important to have him doing that, because otherwise, you're missing out on getting the best out of my playing. I'd be very flat, but he's like taking the good things, making them better, clarifying things.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of a definite partnership when it comes to playing live.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
So when you're touring right now with your own band, do you have like the freedom to like stretch? Are you stretching quite a bit and?
Yeah, we make up a lot of things on the spot
Oh, that's great.
and improvise new sections, and there's a lot of things that change every day and keeps it really, really fresh.
So are you just watching the whole time? Just like,
Yeah.
what do I do?
I mean, I pretty much know like all the spots, but yeah, there's like certain spots where I really gotta look at his hands to know when he's gonna stop,
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Getting back to this, I talked about it a little bit earlier. I've just been watching your hands the whole time, and that pick angle, I know you've probably heard a lot about that.
Yeah.
How did that develop? Was it a George Benson thing, or just?
Oh God, no! You can keep putting me in the same sentence as George Benson as much as you want. Yeah, me and George were like the same kind of guitar player.
Well, I mean,
I wish.
I don't know. It's
No, I mean, really, I never really had proper instruction. So when I started off, I just did what came naturally, and it stayed that way. No one said, "Dude, you're doing it wrong," and there really is no wrong way.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
But like usually, if you go to a teacher, they'll kind of steer you in a sort of common way to play.
Sure.
But no one did that, and it just never changed. But it's not something that I think people should analyze or study, because it has little to nothing to do with my playing.
Right.
All my playing is about how long I'm extending notes and note choices and motifs and melody harmony, all that stuff. It has really nothing to do with this. Just looks kind of lame.
Well, I don't think it looks. I mean, I think it's. Marty, I think you're cool all over, man.
You're too nice.
I dig the whole deal. Okay, the other question, we've handled the gear thing, very interesting, but I've really been curious. You've lived in Japan now for like 20 years, roughly?
A little more than that, yeah.
How did that happen?
Well, there was a period of time where I was listening to Japanese music 24/7. Only Japanese music. I just got into it like in the mid-late 90s, and speaking Japanese was like a hobby. And it came to one point where it was like, I just want to play this music. I want to be part of this music scene.
Wow.
So I went to Japan to see if my Japanese was good enough to actually live there. And it turns out it was, and I was already pretty fluent before I moved over, but you never know until you live somewhere.
Right.
And then I got involved in the Japanese music scene, and then oddly in the television scene. And
You've done like 700 shows.
yeah, at least tons of them. Tons. It kind of was like not a left turn, but like actually doing a lot of TV helped me get my music to a lot more people.
Oh yeah.
But then it came to a point where so many more people knew me from television than from music.
Sure.
It was kind of like, what's the word, not vicious cycle, but it was like, I came here to play music. I didn't want to come here to be on TV. But, it was very
you usually
thankful
have a
for the
guitar
work.
in your hand on TV, don't you?
What's that?
You usually have a guitar nearby.
No,
when you're
no,
on
that's
TV.
the thing. That's the thing. I did very little musical television stuff.
Wow.
Maybe 1 out of 5 things had something to do with music. Everything from comedy to variety to educational, language, even political stuff where I know zero about politics anyway, and just every possible kind of game shows, you name it. So people say, I know this guy, and he's from this show, he's from that show. No, I have 15 albums out.
Yeah.
But, it's one fan at a time, you know what I mean? So, yeah, so, it's definitely helped. It allowed me to have the resources to do whatever I want musically.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
for sure.
Oh, yeah, and building your fan base.
So when you hear my music, it's exactly what I want to do. I don't have to worry about whether it's going to please the record company or sell this many records. It's just exactly what I want to do.
Yeah. Yeah, we recently did a thing with Dweezil Zappa, and so I was reading a bunch of Frank stuff before that, and he was saying, if you're making a decision on a song based on if it's going to sell, that's not an artistic decision, that's a monetary decision, it's a business decision.
Right.
And how great that you can just you can play whatever you want.
Yeah, you can. I mean, and it's all luck anyway. The things that wind up selling the most, sometimes they have many minds put together to make a great product. Sometimes it's just a lucky piece of music that resonates with people.
Right.
So you might as well just do what you intend to do. So win or lose, it's like it's you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like if people don't like it, it's fine. This is the best I can do,
Right.
If they do like it, welcome to the party. I love it.
See, okay, those are the words of wisdom to close on. That's great, man.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, Marty, thank you for joining us today. Such
My
a pleasure.
pleasure.
And we'll see you all down the road.